our program, The Platform, speaking with members of the Jamaatul Islam movement in the Bahamas, Jamaatul Islam movement in the Bahamas, headquartered on Carmichael Road. And at the break, we were talking about the image of the Islamic movement in the world. And especially since 9/11.
Yes.
You have a name that is not well received in many quarters of the world. A sullied name, to say the least, in some quarters. What do you do when, for instance, you traveled from the United States to the Bahamas?
Yes.
People didn't look at you suspiciously.
No.
Okay.
Did not.
All right. But speak to the image of the Islamic movement in the world today.
Okay, good question. The image of the Islam in the world today, it's a combination of two things, a couple of things going on here. Number one, you have our media, who's ran, most cases in the United States and the world is ran by the Jews, and they allow only most cases to be put on the news and on television, the worst form of the Muslims. Like, every religion has people who have issues and they are excessive or extreme. Like in America, the guy who blew up the federal building. After that, in Oklahoma, you will never see a federal building in the United States except that it has, the street is blocked off. He was Christian, but nobody emphasized Christianity was behind it. No. But in reality,
was he really Christian?
Yeah, he was really Christian. He was really Christian.
Anyway,
he was a Christian Caucasian guy who had ills against his country. And whenever something happened from a Muslim, it first always has to be attributed to his religion. And they try to find the worst Muslims to put on the media because it's an agenda to get Islam disliked. But actually, it has an opposite effect. When 9/11 first happened, the Quran became the most, its sale increased. And that's when the numbers of Muslims coming to Islam started to increase. You know, because it made people investigate what the religion is, in spite of what was being said. And the religion of Islam, in its essence, it is submitting to the will of God through compliance to Him. And following the commandments that's been legislated and staying away from what is prohibited. And Islam is a religion that orders us to always focus on peace and unity of people.
The people who are Muslims, who've become terrorists, which sect do they belong?
They belong to a sect called the Khawarij.
The Khawarij?
Khawarij. This is a sect that appeared during the time of the companions of the Prophet. And their belief, and the companions of the Prophet refuted them. And the scholars from that point till this very day still do. As an example, Osama bin Laden. We have a great scholar named Abdulaziz ibn Baz who died 9 years ago. 8 years ago, he forewarned governments to watch this man because he was kicked out of Saudi Arabia. He forewarned governments. He sent letters. He had the government send letters to all government officials to beware of this man of attacking your airports and doing this because his belief system is just this, which is the belief of the Khawarij. They believe that any Muslim who commit a sin, he is a disbeliever, a major sin. He's a non-Muslim, and his blood is legal and lawful for you to spill, and that it's permissible to kill any Muslim that does this, or any Muslim that unite and be kind to any non-Muslim. And they support this concept of murdering Muslims and non-Muslims like this. If you're not a part of their agenda, then you subjugated to being murdered. And he promotes this concept, and the scholars of Islam warns against him and warns against what he's upon.
Why is it that many blacks, particularly some blacks in the Caribbean and America, see Islam as a black man's religion?
Because of the nation of Islam. You have Elijah Muhammad, who was taught by a man named Baby G that they call Fard Muhammad, who said he was God in person, and Elijah was his messenger. And so the testimony of being Muslim, he said, I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah. And so this man called himself Allah, God in other words. And Elijah Muhammad is the final messenger. So they say the same thing we say to be a Muslim, but they mean something totally different from it. And they say the black man is the, you know, the original man, and a man named big head scientist named Yaqub created the white man in the lab.
When Malcolm X became a Muslim, he taught about the Islamic faith in the United States. But when he went to
pilgrimage,
on the pilgrimage, he repudiated a lot of things.
Because, because his eyes was opened when he went.
Yeah, because when he came back to the United States, and I encourage anyone who hears this to go, you can type it on YouTube. You know, Malcolm X gave a lecture when he first arrived back from Hajj or pilgrimage. And the first thing he did was clarify that Islam is not a religion for black people only. It's a religion for all mankind. How Islam don't distinguish between your color. But as God says in the Quran, that the most righteous of you is the best of you, and the most noblest of you, the most righteous of you.
But when he came back from the pilgrimage, he talked, he didn't like some things that he saw in the Islamic faith.
In the
nation of
Islam.
Because he was able to determine he saw that wasn't Islam.
Right.
It's called Islam, but it isn't Islam.
But gentlemen, Islam isn't a religion of all equality now, because Darfur, for example, was a slave station in the Islamic world, just like Ghana or Senegal was a slave station for the Western world. Darfur was a slave station, and the blacks of sub-Saharan Africa are discriminated against by the Pharaoh Egyptians and the Moroccans.
Okay, let me explain. There's a difference between what the religion say and what the practice is.
Yeah, but it's the same problem in Christianity.
I know.
We have this problem of racial discrimination.
Because Malcolm X said it best. Malcolm X said it best. Any place that the United States has influence on, you're going to find racism there.
No, they're not doing the United States.
No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying in essence. Any place that you find has been influenced with westernization, you'll find it's been influenced with racism. Where lighter skinned people will show difference to a darker skinned people. In Egypt, you see in Egypt, you got Lower Egypt, where you have the darker Egyptians.
Or you have the Sudanese.
That's what I mean, which is part of Lower Egypt.
Every Egyptian got a Sudanese slave.
Yes. Well, no, they don't practice slavery in Egypt.
A Sudanese servant then.
And what happened is, they are looked down upon, but that's not the religion. The religion don't call it to that.
But it's life.
Okay.
It's life.
Gentlemen.
But I want to make one thing, right? I want to make one statement to show my small understanding of Islam. Assalamu alaikum.
Mr. Hebert, how is the movement growing in the Bahamas, or not growing?
The movement is growing, right? It is growing, but slowly, as I said before. And I invite anyone who wants to know about Islam, right, to go to our website, www.jamaatul-sunnah.com, and also come to our center on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, where you can present and listen to the information on the knowledge of Islam.
What is the membership in the Bahamas?
The membership is still small, it's growing. You see, one thing that we...
Give me numbers.
You love to have, everyone loves to have numbers, right? But numbers does not matter. It's the quality of the heart of the individual in coming to Islam. And it is growing, right? So we don't need to follow numbers.
So the Bible says where 2 or 3 are gathered together, touching anything, you will be there. What do you say in the Islamic movement when you get together?
Bow down with those who bow down.
Bow down with those who bow down.
Right. Now, I just want to make sure that because we invited the people to come. When you come, we are not imposed on you to bow down. You're coming to listen and to observe our worship. Now, if you want to come into the knowledge of into Islam, then you bow down with us. But there's no compulsion, there's no force on anyone to participate in the worship when they come to our center, but to get information.
But you have some growth as far as people accepting Islam.
Constantly.
Like me, myself. I was born in the Bahamas, but my parents are Haitian, right? And we have Haitians who are accepting Islam here in the Bahamas.
Right.
And others.
All right.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so very much for being here today. Fazal Hepburn, who is the leader, Mr. Abdul Abad, and you are living in the United States but training in Egypt.
Yes.
Of course, we know Dr. Munir Rashad and Mr. Abdul Hakim. Thank you so very much. What is your Islamic name?
He's coming close. He's coming close. Yes.
I heard him saying something like that.
He said, Assalamu alaikum.
You're supposed to respond.
I did. I said what they consider.
Thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you.
We enjoyed the program. Thank you so very much. We hope that you enjoyed watching and listening to the program. Good evening, everyone.